All of the stories that you are going to write will focus on a person or multiple people. Stories without characters are not really stories at all. Characters are the focus of our attention, as well as the perpetrators of the action within the stories themselves. So they are the most important part of a story, and getting them right can make or break your novel or short story or screenplay. So how does one actually go about getting characters right? How do you make them realistic without being boring? How do you write a character that is completely unlike yourself, but still relatable? Let's go through and create a character from the very beginning so we can see what the process is like. The art of creating characters is a process that is going to be unique to you. Not everyone is going to go about creating the characters in the same way, but there are some certain techniques that you can try that may work for you. As a dedicated pantser, discovery writer, and coddywampler, I don't usually put huge amounts of effort into planning out my characters beforehand. I generally start with an idea of a character and a scenario in which that character is going to interact, and then I see what happens. I see what my character does in the various situations. The trick to this, though, is being certain that my character's reactions are believable and consistent. Also, I have to make sure my character has depth and facets that can be difficult when I'm learning about my character as I write. However, I'm also on a mission of discovery. I get to learn about her as I go along. Eventually, I have a complex picture of my character and I can go back and fix what doesn't fit. So writing my stories, it's kind of like meeting a new person. You're learning about the character as I'm learning about the character. You know their essentials within a few seconds, but everything else is sort of a mystery that unfolds. So the second part that you can think about is character casting. Sometimes you have an idea about the role that this character will play in your story, and you don't need to go out creating a detailed background or a character bio or filling in personality types for this character. Instead, you can cast your character. For example, let's say we have a villain, female, who is working hard to subvert her boss at every turn. She needs to be intelligent and disarmingly pretty, but that's as much detail as you need right now. So picture, say, Zoe from Firefly. You have a bunch of details already fleshed out, and you don't need to do a whole lot of work. On top of that, now every time you picture that character, you can picture your actress of choice, and you already know how she's likely to act and the manners that she's going to have. Any variations on your characters can come in as you're honing your story and putting your characters into various situations. The tricky part of this technique is that your characters can end up acting like a clone of the actor or character that you cast, and your originality turns into a carbon copy of someone else's work. So as long as you understand that this is a guideline, then you can adapt as necessary. So the third technique is character sheets and bios. Some people feel better about creating a character when they've gone through and learned everything that they can about that character. This usually comes with a character sheet. There are many templates out there that are free, but most of the common questions include things like the name, the physical characteristics, the age, background, motivation, goals, role in the story, connections, and more. I have known people to take personality tests for their characters so that they can see just how they will react in certain circumstances. I have tried that. It's not my favorite, but I have tried that. Others will interview their characters to learn more about them, but here the idea is the more you know, the easier it will be to understand how they will react and why they're motivated, and create a believable, relatable character. However, this can also be taken a little bit too far. It is unlikely that you would ever need to know a fantasy character's favorite brand of shoe, but you may need to know their favorite sword. So you just have to sort of know when to stop. No matter how you go about creating your character, know that there can still be problems when writing them. A common trap that writers have is that their characters feel flat or forced, and that bores readers really fast. The trick to this is to write what feels natural. Even if you're an introvert, you can draw from your knowledge and experience of interacting with other people and observing people to write what an extrovert would do in a party situation. You have an extrovert have observed people, you get along with people. You can draw from real life to make your writing more natural. So you have to remember that our characters are not real people, and that many of the boring pieces of real people can be left out. Small talk can be avoided. We don't need to know their morning routines. The aspects that you tune out in conversation can be left out unless you're intentionally trying to create that boring character. So when in doubt, you can do research. You can ask what other people would do, utilize social media and say, in this situation, what would you do? Have people read a scene and see if they like your character. Chances are, though, that if you like your character, other people will too. Characters are the heart and soul of most stories. However you go about creating your characters, just know something horrible can happen to your character. That's a story, but it's their reactions that make us care.